Welcome back to Fox 43 AM Live, where I'm joined now by Miss Devin with the Shawnee North Community Center. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Glad to be here.
Awesome, and we're both wearing purple. Kind of corresponding here. I like it. So I have a very strange question for you, Devin. Are you prepared?
I think so.
What do herding 300 chickens, a missing cemetery, and the death of a former Idaho governor have in common?
So they all happened at the Shawnee County Poor Farm, now the Shawnee North Community Center, and I'm the rec leader there for Shawnee County Parks and Rec. And it's probably the oldest park that is run by the Parks Department. It's actually older than Gage Park.
Wow.
That being said, it was originally the Shawnee County Poor Farm. So it was a working farm, and it's kind of a place where people who could not work or could not live on their own were told by the county, hey, you're going to be moved out to the poor farm, you're going to be cared for, but you're not really going to be able to do your own thing, to be self-sufficient and independent.
Because you essentially are not almost owned by them because you're working underneath them?
Not quite. I mean, you're getting paid through with food, lodging, medical care, but you're not receiving any money for that, which is very, very questionable, especially now. And so we have the people there at the poor farm. It was a working farm, which is where the 300 chickens come in. One of my favorite stories, Superintendent Taylor, I actually managed to remember his name, he had to herd the farm's flock of 300 chickens in a rainstorm away from Indian Creek.
That is awful.
And it's probably one of my favorite stories because it's just like the idea of herding chickens is bad enough. You know, I'd imagine it's a lot worse than herding cats, and then having to do that in a rainstorm. It's just, yeah. You
are just adding factors to this story that just makes it sound even more crazy. I mean, that's wild. And I know that you guys are offering tours, right?
Yes.
On January 14th. So what is this tour all about? What can people do? Why should they come out?
So the center is celebrating the 100-year completion of the building.
Which, congratulations.
Thank you. It's been a rough time to get it to that point. But we're going to do tours outside because the weather looks like it's going to be pretty good. We're also might be willing to do inside tours will be doing inside tours depending on the weather. We're going to cover things from the original building back in 1870 to some of the residents, a recently rediscovered hospital, and the missing cemetery.
How was that hidden? How was that hidden for a while?
And that's, I guess that could be considered one of the ghosts on the property. Last Friday, actually, I found what's called a Sanborn map. It's an old fire insurance map.
Interesting.
And had a lead from another, actually, county employee, and I was looking through this thing and I was like, okay, I want to find the cemetery. I want to find the cemetery, and I'm like, I know that building, I knew that one. Why is there a hospital? And this was in 1923, and so a lot of the information I've been getting is pre that because of digital newspaper archives. Sadly, there's no digital archives after 1923, so it's like I don't know when this thing was built. I don't know when it was torn down. I just know that it existed.
And we can't really figure out the history then, because if there's nothing else on there, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, a hospital of all things, and I guess that does make sense for, healthcare to be there on the spot for those people that were working there. That does make perfect sense. And I see that, of course, we have the Idaho governor mentioned here. Is that possibly a ghost that is there, or?
Well, I mean, it's impossible to say. I mean, you can't really ID ghosts. But so his name was Norman Wiley.
Okay.
He was actually the territorial governor in Idaho in the early 1890s. And he actually helped transition the state into the Union and helped establish the state government there. So he's a really interesting character. He ended up having a run of bad luck, and he actually ended up in Kansas living with folks. When his sister died, he was then moved into the Shawnee County Poor Farm. So he was only there for about 4 months before he died in 1921. And it's one of the reasons it's been hard to get records is a lot of the people, when they come in, they might not be able to communicate. They might not be able to actually remember who they are. So he was actually identified after he had passed away by his brother-in-law. Now, how he found out that this man had passed, I don't know. But he was able to come in, identify him, and was like, oh yeah, that's a former Idaho governor. So he's the only resident we have a picture of and a biography of right now.
And so I guess this just sounds so cool. I'm very excited about it. And this is all happening January 14th from noon to 4 p.m., right? And of course, tours start at 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, and 3:30. People come out, and what do they need to have with them? How much money? What do they need to bring?
So it is a free event. And now there is actually an event happening later that evening where we are going to do an actual ghost hunt.
Great.
That is being led by Ghost Tours of Kansas. That is a paid event, and people can register during the open house if they are interested. But for the open house, it is free, and I will be leading tours, and it's going to be a good time.
Oh, great. Well, our guest, Devin, here. This is Devin Cooper, and of course, we're talking about the Centennial celebration for Shawnee North Community Center on January 14th. Definitely get out there, see the spookiness, see all the history, and if you come and find out what you didn't know about the 100-year-old building, right? And you're going to find a whole bunch of stuff out. Maybe who that secret ghost is and why that hospital was there.